Welcome to the AWAKN podcast.
Are you stoned?
No.
We should be stoned. Do we have edibles?
Perhaps.
Do we? Should we get stoned?
We already started. We're not getting stoned right now.
Why not?
Because
It could be fun.
Not.
What? Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared. But we've already started. Like, this is our scheduled time. Like,
oh yeah.
let's do it.
We're mid podcast. We're
mid
gonna
podcast. We're
eat
already
edibles
underway.
Mid podcast.
We're already underway.
Yeah, we've got our assistant going to get us some edibles. This will be good. This will be great.
This will be great.
This will be a lot of fun.
This will be a lot of fun.
So, Karen.
Yes.
Are you going by Karen or are you going by
Well, this
Jen?
is kind of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a whole thing. What are these?
Well, we've been doing this podcast a few weeks now, and we've been introducing ourselves as Gem.
Yeah, and I've been
And Slate.
introducing myself as Slate, which, let's be honest, Slate is a great name. Slate fucks. That name is sick as fuck. My sisters got Jade and Amethyst, and I got Cole, spelled not like the stone, spelled like Cole, which is trash. So I've been going by Slate lately, which gets great feedback. But the problem with it is that it doesn't feel like me. Now, here's the thing.
Who does it feel like?
Well, it feels like Slate, I guess.
Ah, nice. I don't like these, so I'm not going to eat these.
You have to.
I don't have to. I don't.
You're
like
required
these.
to.
I don't.
I'm going to get you a little piece.
No.
It's just a little piece.
I don't like those.
Mom,
I don't want them.
you don't get a choice.
I do have a choice. Our assistant got me a
Oh.
choice.
You do have a choice. Ew,
These-
that tastes bad.
These are good. These
You have
are
some water?
peach. They're only 2.5,
That one was an 8.
and I usually just eat half.
She'll be giggly here
I'm
in
not
20
quite-
minute.
The other half back in the jar for someone else to
Crazy
eat
kid.
later.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Is it feels like Slate acts a little bit different. He's more outgoing. Well, not more outgoing. Cole's pretty outgoing too, but I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it is the whole thing. I'm torn.
Does it feel like it's just not you?
It feels ingenuine is what it feels like.
You just feel like you're bullshitting people.
No, I don't feel like I'm bullshitting people. I really don't care what anybody else thinks. Really, it has to do all with me, where I've done a lot of work to like who I am, and it feels ingenuine to me to call myself something else. So I'm not exactly sure where I stand on the whole thing.
Gotcha. Well, can we talk about me now?
We sure can. Let's hear it, Jem,
Well, my given name is Karen,
which is a trash name.
but Karen has become a really shitty name lately.
Super trash.
Nobody likes a Karen. It's like got this really weird vibe to it now. I go to Starbucks and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Karen." And they're like, and they give me like the wide eye look, like, "Oh fuck, it's her." And I've got short hair, and I'm white, and I'm middle aged.
Seriously,
I mean, it
you
all
have got
adds
the
up,
Karen
right?
haircut.
I've got the whole Karen thing going, except I'm not really a Karen.
No, we call her not your average Karen in our
Not
household.
your average Karen.
So it's quite a bit of.
Yeah.
She's actually a lot of fun. Don't let this podcast fool you.
What does that even mean? But I've been calling myself Gem because I did this thing a while ago. It was called Personal Power, and it was like a workshop thing, and we learned to connect with our essence of who we really are, and then you name who that is. And I'll tell you, Kim Standeven is Drawing the Magic is the one who does the personal power thing.
Is there like a light side and a shadow side that you name?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I did, in fact.
Okay, are you going to tell us both?
I don't know.
Why
I don't know if
not?
I should.
Of course you should.
Well, it's pretty personal.
I want to hear it. And so do the people.
Do they? You
The
think?
people
Do you guys
want to
really
know.
want to hear it?
Oh, they do.
So my personal power name that I came up with, who I am at my core, it really doesn't make sense to other people. Okay, because well, either the core essence name or the shadow side name. This is
well,
really
it has nothing
not,
to do with anybody else.
correct.
It has
doesn't
everything
have
to do with you.
Exactly. And it's what means something to me. So me saying it would be a vulnerable thing because it's like, okay, this is really who I am at my core. And it's not about what other people think. So.
Are you afraid to be judged?
Well, no, I know I'll be judged. Everybody gets judged.
Also, it doesn't matter what they think.
Well, yeah. I mean, really all that matters is what I think about
and what I think.
Yeah. So I did this personal power thing. I came up with this name, Empathy Gem.
Okay.
And that is my core essence name. But
that's your power name.
That's my power essence name. Like who
Empathy Gem.
Yeah, it's my core essence name.
And why Gem?
This is the part that I'm not willing to be questioned on because it doesn't
I wasn't
really
questioning
matter.
you. I was just curious.
You just did. You just questioned.
Well, I was
like, why Gem?
Okay, fair. But I am curious. Like, and if you don't want to talk about it, that's totally cool. But I am curious.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Am I going or are you?
You're going. Clearly, you were.
Now I lost my train of thought. I was going to say
why Empath? Why Gem?
Oh yeah. Why Gem?
And I'm saying I'm unwilling to answer. And the reason why I'm unwilling to answer
Shut down.
is because it really doesn't matter why Gem.
Okay,
it's a series of things that you unfold in this workshop that she does.
Gotcha.
And in the unfolding, you come up with these different things that help you to name your core essence. So It's not one thing that I could say, oh, it's because of this.
I just wasn't sure if it had like something to do with naming your kids all after stones or something.
No,
like
but
that.
I did discover that was a piece of it. And I realized that me naming my kids, because I named them Jade, right? Cole.
Which is not a gem.
It's a mineral, right? Technically.
Spelled correctly, it is.
Well, I mean, does that really matter?
Okay, we're past that.
But yeah. So, and then amethyst.
Yes.
Yes. And so I realized there's a piece of me that the word gem really means something to me. And it's very important to me in my heart.
Very cool.
And so I started calling myself Gem online, in my social media and stuff like that. Not because I want people to know what my core essence name is, but really it helped me to start identifying more with my heart than with my mind. Because I found that I've been in my head so much.
That's
and
pretty
I was
cool.
like, I'm always in my head. And really, I'm at my best at my core when I'm in my heart. Interesting.
It's kind of like that thing we went and did in Colorado, that event that you and I did.
Yeah.
What was that stuff called?
Kana.
Yeah. And what was amazing about that is when you do that, it's basically like a plant medicine type thing. And when you take it, it really puts you into like your heart
space.
And it is crazy because you think differently when you're in that space. So it's pretty interesting about you saying that is it sounds to me like what you're saying is that just by the mere fact of identifying yourself as a different name, it allows you to use your heart energy more. Yeah. To remember that space, because that was really important to me when we went and did that event, because I really felt the difference afterwards when you start integrating it into your life. I really felt the difference of how I had been in my head, because it was easy to tell how different I felt at the event. Mm-hmm. And I was way more heart-centered. And I was like, that's where I want to live most of my life, not in my head, because, you know, it's like your ego and anxiety and just, I mean, it's like too much sometimes. Literally all sorts of different things. I am a big proponent of dissolving the ego. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Nice. I think everybody should dissolve their ego. And you know what? The easiest way to do it is with drugs. It just is. It's very easy. Jade and I were talking about that today. Were you? Well, yeah, because I had been talking to my sister Julie, and we were she was here for ACL. Okay. Just this last weekend, and she was saying that some people had some conversations about microdosing. Mm-hmm. And she had asked me, what is it like when you microdose? And I was telling Jade that it's like if you have built up walls, it's like the walls just come down. It's like you're able to
to listen to things not with your ego as much. It's like you're able to reach your heart a little bit easier. And we're talking microdose. I mean, we're talking, it's like you don't even feel like you are.
No, there's no psychedelic,
no component of feeling
all.
high or anything like that. It's
definitely
just
not. You're fully aware, fully awake.
Yeah.
It's just, it does do something interesting to you, whether it's the psilocin or the psilocybin, that it really just almost kind of takes your guard down.
Yeah, exactly. It brings like your walls down.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to do it, I encourage you to try it. It's very great to do. I microdosed every day for like probably 3 or 4 weeks. That was great. I had a lot of fun doing that. I've never microdosed acid. I'd like to try it one day. What's really interesting, though, is it's really big in Silicon Valley.
Oh.
Because acid, when you microdose it, there's people that say that you get like super creative, super like your mind starts working in different ways. Mm-hmm. What was really funny is I was hanging out with my friends in Denver. I had taken a tab of acid and we watched the UFC fights. Nobody knew. It was very interesting. It was a hilarious day. And if you don't know, acid's like a 12-hour trip. So we literally hung out in this house all day and it was a blast. Oh but at the end of the day, it was Taylor and I, Zach, one of my other buddies, and I think Kaz and I all played a game of chess. And normally I'm a decent chess player.
Were you playing chess while the UFC game was on?
After.
Okay.
After. This is,
It's like, that's an odd game to play while you're watching UFC.
Actually, you know what? Taylor and I might have played a game in the middle, in between two fights.
Okay.
We're just cool like that. But anyway, what's funny about it is if I remember correctly, I whooped them in all 3 games with 3 different people. And that is not normally my normal state. Normally, Taylor just beats me every time.
Yeah.
Kaz, I've won a couple against him. I've lost a couple against him. And same with Zach. But I straight up went on a tear. It was a blast. It was fun.
Nice.
It was cool.
That's cool.
And I think that's where the creative thing comes from.
Oh, gotcha. I was wondering where we were going this.
Tie
it back around. Which is great for the people in Silicon Valley because they are doing creative things, discovering, creating apps, and what is it that they're doing out there? I don't even know.
Did you watch that video?
I'm busy. I'm doing construction a lot. I'm not really in tune with what they're doing out in Silicon Valley.
We're going to move past Silicon Valley. Did you watch the video I sent you about Aubrey Marcus? It's not the gummy yet, Karen. There's no way it could be. It's been 5 minutes. Did you watch the video I sent you?
I started to watch it.
Aubrey Marcus and his ayahuasca. Yeah.
Yes.
Folks, if you haven't seen this documentary, it's phenomenal. It's 35 minutes. It's on YouTube. Just type in Aubrey Marcus, Dragon of the Jungle. Yeah. It's all about ayahuasca. And you know this, but I have felt the call to go do an ayahuasca trip for like years now.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
And what's really neat is when you watch that documentary, this guy, I don't know his real name, but his nickname is the Dragon of the Jungle.
Oh, yeah.
And his totem animal is a dragon. Oh. Okay. And the story goes that he gets his totem animal in a dream, in this like feverish dream. And when you get a totem animal in like mythology and stuff, you get it by like, you remember the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
And they're going to get the dragons and they're like, how do I know which one's mine?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, it'll try and kill you. So in mythology, that is how you get your totem animal. So this guy ends up doing battle with this dragon and at the end, like gains its respect and they become one, right? And so his totem, just like an avatar. Yeah. So that's his totem animal. This documentary is phenomenal. And in the documentary, Eric Godseye, who is, honestly, I don't know too much about him. I know he's a wickedly smart guy. But he does stuff with like neurobiology, I think. But anyway, he says in the documentary that if the container isn't impeccable, and the container and the person like hosting the container isn't perfect, then it's actually dangerous to do, right? And it made me think of when we went and did some of the stuff that we did.
Yeah.
Because I've done stuff where the container was impeccable. And I've also done stuff where the container was not impeccable.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is the like almost like trauma that you get when the container isn't impeccable.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I went and did that one in Utah, and at the end there was that woman there that was like just crazy. I thought about it for weeks, months. And it was like trying to integrate it and do, trying to figure out what was going on. But that was because the container wasn't impeccable.
Yeah.
And so what it really made me realize is like when you're going to do these like psychedelic events, that you really have to be wary of making sure that the people that you're with
are safe.
Great. They're safe people. And that the people you're going to do it with have done it before and are safe to do it.
Yeah. And that there's people there who are not on plant medicine who can be like you said, a safe container and make sure that other people are safe with each other. That there are some ground rules and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah.
Sure.
Pretty interesting.
It is. That's really
You got to finish that documentary. It's very good. It made me cry.
I would like to. Did it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I watched it twice.
Wow.
And I cried twice. Wow. Yeah. I also had a pretty good download, but I don't want to talk about it on the podcast. We'll talk about it later.
Which then brings you back, right? All the way around
Full
to
circle.
What?
I don't know. I just told you that story to tell you.
Oh, okay. Well,
What did
I
you
was
connect
thinking
me
it
with?
was going back. I'm getting bitten by like little no-see-ums or something. I just want you to know. That's why I keep touching my ear. But
Same.
anyhow, it made me think that we were going back around to the why are we not I don't want that one. Don't touch me with that. I'm going to use the natural.
Well, I'm going to use that on my face, but you want this on your
No,
body,
I
right?
don't.
Bug spray break. Okay. Give me that.
Makes me go back to like why we're using different names.
Okay.
Back to the beginning of.
And why is that?
Well, I guess I was thinking it was going back to that because as you do these different things and you start
you become another person.
Become another person. Become another person. No, you don't become another person.
You do, though.
Well, you get a different perspective, which
I believe that you become another person.
Oh, that's interesting.
I believe that, well, there's a quote, and I think it's by Rumi, that basically says, you can never enter the same river twice because you are not the same man and it is not the same river.
Well, I get that. Yeah.
So every time I think we have these experiences where, something profound happens and you see the world in a different way, you're no longer the same person forevermore.
You know what? And you know what else?
What?
There's some science thing that talks about your cells and how they are constantly renewing and that every
7 years.
Oh, I thought it was even closer than that.
I think it's every 7 years.
I thought it was like 90 days.
We'll have to look up.
We'll have to look it up. Maybe
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Jamie, pull that up. I can't believe I got to do that. That's fucking awesome. Look up.
How often do all your cells turn over?
Yeah. How often are you a new person? You what?
Well,
no, like
your whole
cells.
body.
Yeah. How often do you become another person?
Yeah, because that is the case, right?
It is.
And
I believe so.
if you are constantly growing personally and changing and, breaking the habit of becoming yourself, being
Joe
yourself,
Dispenza, plug.
all these things, as you're doing that, you are becoming somebody else. And
100%.
when you are remembering old things, you're remembering them as a new person. So it's shifting things. Yes.
80 to 100
Ah!
You were
I was
way
right.
closer.
90 days, 80 to 100. I was right on
You're a
target.
genius, Karen. Gem.
Pretty good.
Gemothy.
Gemothy.
Wait, we didn't talk about your shadow side.
Ooh,
name.
you want to hear
This
what
is
my
a good
shadow name
name.
is?
I do.
It actually is. So
It is hilarious.
It is. My shadow name is Estonia Cold Killa.
Oh, I love that name. Oh, that is so funny. I try and use it more often, and I got to remember to use it because it is so good. Talk about a good name to like break your like when you're locked on to something. Hey, Stone Cold Killa, or what is it? Estonia Cold Killa.
Cold Killa.
Yeah, hilarious. I want to come up with my names.
Yeah, well, you should do the workshop.
I should do the workshop.
Yeah.
I'll do the workshop.
Do it.
I'm going to do it.
Do it. Call her.
I'll email her. I'm kidding.
You don't email.
No, I don't. I literally texted. I
You're a
emailed the
millennial.
guy the other day, and I was like, most of millennials email. But I emailed this guy, and I was like, hey, can I get a phone number so I can call you so we can have this conversation? He goes, no, I only do it over email. And I was like, I guess whatever.
I really like to email.
I know you do.
And Dad's always like telling me, well, Dad doesn't like to email. And he's got his own reasons why he doesn't like it. Well, it does prevent this sort of rapport.
100%.
Right? So
Yeah.
if you're trying to sell somebody on something, or you're trying to really gain rapport so that you can...
Or just have connection in the middle of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're just trying to have connection, I guess, in the middle of the day.
Why not?
I don't know. I get into these, like, I'm just doing, I'm
What
just
do you mean?
do. Like when you're working, let's say you're doing like admin stuff, or you're just trying to get through your list of like shit to do. And so then it's easier to email because then I can just like do it and let it go, and then get on to the next one and do it and let it go. But yeah, you're right. I am missing out on the whole heart piece.
And you want to live in your heart space, don't you?
I do.
Maybe living in your heart space requires you to call people more often.
Well, I think it does. It's clear.
Call me more often.
Do you want me to?
That was really a joke. You call me pretty often.
I don't call you very often, do I?
Probably like 5 times
Well, I mean,
a
we
week.
see each other a lot. So, I mean, we talk a lot.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. We don't text much, though.
No. In fact, I ignore your texts a lot. I looked through our text the other day, and it was like 4 texts in a row with no response. And I was like, I should respond more often.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then I did respond to one, and then I was like, good
Give
job.
yourself a good pat on
Good
the
job,
back.
kid.
Oh, my gosh.
That was funny.
Yeah. The girls are really good about texting and like making it more heartfelt because they like put emojis on it. I used to get a lot of grief from them for not making my texts like fun and inviting.
Oh, I see.
I would just say K, and they were like, "Oh, that's like you can't just
That's
say
so
K.
That's so trash, Mom.
Trash." Like, what are you mad? It's like, no, you do K, and they're like, we do KK, not just K, and no caps.
Jade
It's
and
like,
I
gotta
had
be
this
all
conversation
these, like,
the other day.
Did you? Yeah, it's like this like whole thing. I thought that it was.
You know
I didn't
what?
know that there was like this whole thing. I don't have.
There's a whole thing.
My
It's
eyes
fucking
are
trash.
54 years old. So guess what? If I don't have my glasses on, I can't see the emojis, and I'm actually afraid of hitting the wrong emoji and having it send over with like some
Is
weird
this a
thing.
real fear?
Oh, this is real. I'm fucking looking at my phone.
Also, she's got these
got
big
giant
ass thumbs. That's part of it.
yeah. So I'm like texting, and then I'm like, what should I put? And then I'm like, nothing, because I can't see it, and I get afraid that I'm gonna send something crazy, and then it's gonna be even worse. Then they're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? You put the wrong emoji.
What was that about? Yeah, or then
Are you mad?
Yes, exactly. It's gonna send the wrong message. Yeah, it gets all weird.
Yeah,
Isn't that
I'm
weird?
not a fan of texting, actually. In fact, I really only text a few people, and it's really just all my buddies. Because, like, when you're texting other people, there's all sorts of, like, things that you got to watch out for, and I'm just like, ugh, I despise it.
Yeah.
So I don't
Do you
really
text
people.
girls?
No, not really right now. I'm texting this one girl. Oh, my gosh. I had some serious drama happen with that
Did
girl
you?
that I met from Vegas. Did you hear about that?
I didn't.
We can't talk about it on the podcast.
Wow.
But It was crazy.
Was it?
Straight up crazy. I hope she doesn't see me talk about this.
Well, I think she just might.
She might. But, at the end of the day, it's whatever. She gets to make her own decisions, and I made my own decision. Wasn't for me. I wasn't mad at her at all, but, it is what it is. But anyway.
We're going to get a lot of comments about what the heck was that
Oh,
all
people
about?
want to know the details.
Yeah. Well, it's fun for people, right?
Should we tell them?
I know. Would you like to?
What were you about to say?
I was about to say that's what the fun is in reality shows.
We should have a reality show.
We are in a reality show.
Good point. That's a great point. Episode 6 of reality TV.
Yeah.
Curious.
Very curious.
Oh my gosh, Mom.
Yes.
I got to tell you about Clozee.
Oh, in the caverns?
Yes.
Tell me.
So I went to go see my favorite music artist, which I was shown by one of my best friends, Zach Stahl. Shout out. Super cool dude. If you ever meet him, you'll love him. And what was I going to say? And so Zach showed me this artist. Her name's Clozee, Clozee. She is goated. I mean, the best music producer probably of all time. She created her own genre of music. It's called world bass. And when I say the attention to detail is so specific that when you're listening to the music, it sounds super spiritual, but it sounds like impossible. Like you're listening to it and you're like, how does somebody do this? It feels fake. And so when you're at these shows, they have speaker setups there that I don't know how much they cost, but they've got to be upwards of $500,000.
Wow.
I mean, so expensive. When you see the amount of them, you're just like, holy shit, this is a lot. So we go see Clozee. Night 1 rips.
This was in Tennessee.
Yeah, this was in Tennessee. Rips. Now, we did have an interesting thing. So there's definitely a dark side to the whole like bass scene. Okay. So we are on night 1. It's Friday. We had just gotten there like maybe 5-6 hours ago. We are in the crowd. Canvas comes on. Shout out Canvas. If anybody sees this, Canvas is gas. Absolutely rips. Go look her up on SoundCloud. She's fucking amazing. So Canvas comes on. She destroys. I mean, like grungy, downtown, cool thug set, right? Then comes on after her is 100 Drums. And 100 Drums is this like Jamaican girl, super hot, dreads, and just kind of like almost like a little like Haitian voodoo kind of feeling. So she comes on, and at first she's real good. Then all of a sudden, Zach and I are standing there with our other buddies, and Zach's like, dude, I feel weird. I'm like, dude, I feel weird too. He feels weird to the point that he leaves the venue.
Wow.
And I walk outside like 10, 15 minutes later. I'm like, dude, where you at? He's like, dude, I had to get out of there. I felt so weird in there. It's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was standing there in the crowd, and I felt like I was like, now, mind you, I'm on drugs. Okay. So this is part of it. But I'm standing in the crowd, and I feel like I am a light standing against a wall of darkness.
Wow.
The visuals were weird, like demonic with like upside down crosses.
Wow.
The music was weird. When I tell you, I literally looked out into the crowd, and it looked like people were in a trance, swaying back and forth. It felt like the life got sucked out of the room. It was weird as fuck.
Wow.
It was so strange. Then Clozee comes on and absolutely tears the roof off this place. I mean, insane.
Did the light come out?
What?
Did the light come out? Like, come on?
Like what kind
like
of
it
light?
went from dark, did it get light?
Oh, energetically?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Clozee, her music is so spiritual. It's so light. It's so love. It's amazing. So that was a lot of fun. Then the next night, I had a really neat experience in the crowd. I had taken, what did I take? I took 2 grams of mushrooms.
Can you hear the dog?
Yeah, howling. I took 2 grams of mushrooms, and I took what I take, probably 3/10 of a gram of sass. I'm standing in the crowd, and I do this thing when I'm at shows where I put my hands on my heart and I just feel the music, right?
Yeah.
And really what I'm doing is I'm connecting to God,
Okay.
right? Not like Christian God. I'm talking capital G God, capital M mind, like universal source energy, right?
Okay.
So I'm standing there and I am connecting with him. And all of a sudden I think about the day my son's born.
Whoa.
And I have this wickedly clear vision.
You have no children.
I have no children. I have no children. I don't have a girlfriend either. I have this vision that my son is born, and then I have like this thing where like there's these moments in his life where I teach him things that change his trajectory in life. Okay.
Wow.
And they're like vivid.
Wow.
Like I'm seeing the interaction third person. I can't tell what he looks like, but I know it's him, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm standing there and I am sobbing in the crowd. I mean, like breakdown, sobbing. And one of my girlfriends comes over. Her name's Shelby. Love that girl to death. So cool. She comes over and she gives me a big hug and like holds me. And then it kind of passed. And then all of a sudden it took me to a place of like childlike fun. I literally danced like nobody was watching.
Nice.
I was dancing so like out there.
Yeah.
I at one point looked up and there was like 3 or 4 people watching me dance, not watching the show. And it was a blast.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
That's so cool.
It was an amazing event. It was an amazing event. But I love those experiences where, you know, oh, this is what I said to Zach afterwards. He was like, dude, what was going on? Like you were really feeling yourself.
Yeah.
And I decided that I was experiencing experience itself. Right? So like normally when you experience life, like you are the conduit for the experience, right? So you have a mind and you have a body, right? Well, your body experiences something, whether it's like pain or an emotion, love or whatever. Your body experiences it and then your mind processes it. Well, this literally felt like I was experiencing it without the middleman.
So like just your consciousness.
Yes, exactly. It literally felt like my consciousness was like melded with the fabric of reality.
Wow.
It was rad.
Wow.
And you know me, you know those are my favorite experiences.
Yeah,
it was
totally.
so much fun.
Wow.
And the fact that I got to do it with Zach in the crowd and Shelby and our other buddy who I'm spacing his name right now, but it's one of Zach's buddies.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. It was so much fun. It was so great. It was great.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Well, I think that stuff like that, experiences like that just help to shift, just, you know, the way you may view regular everyday life even. You know
100%.
what I mean? It just helps you, you know, it's like when people say they do mushrooms or something and then they feel like everything's connected, you know, because you have like this experience where you make these realizations and then you can carry them and integrate them into your regular everyday life. And it changes things. It shifts it.
It does change it.
Treat people differently.
100%. And what's really interesting is it always seems to shift it to the positive.
Yeah.
Rarely do you meet. I've never met somebody that had an experience. I take that back. I have an uncle. But I rarely meet anybody that has an experience like that. And it, you know, makes it negative to where their experience was so negative that they were like, oh, you know, that's not my thing or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But most of the time people have those experiences and they're like, wow, you know, everything is love. Everything is, you know, connection.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
we were on our global table call the other night
Okay.
And
I'm getting bit.
yeah, with Revolutionary Woman. And
why don't we wrap this up in like the next 10 minutes?
Okay. So we were talking and we were chatting about how oftentimes people are so busy doing their everyday things. You know, it's like if you're, married, whatever, it's like you've got your spouse, you've got maybe your kids, and you go to work and you do these things and you're just kind of going and doing. And it's so often that you recognize that people are just doing stuff and they're not stopping and remembering that we're all connected.
Yes.
And taking the time to say hi to somebody, maybe the clerk at the grocery store or somebody that you run into somewhere, and just taking a moment to just go, how are you today? Or what's going on?
To connect with people.
Yeah. To just say, hey, I see you.
Yeah.
And so much of life, I mean, when you think about mental illness and stuff like that, it's like it's like people just want to be seen and heard and valued. And valued. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
100%.
We can all do that. It's not something that you can't do. It's just,
and it's so
take the time.
easy to do.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think that's what people forget is they feel like, when they go out, that they don't want to connect with people because they feel vulnerable in the connection, right? Or maybe they feel like they're not worthy of the connection. Yeah. So there's definitely things that prevent people from doing it. But
right.
What's so interesting is I love to do it. I do it constantly.
Yeah.
It's how I live my life, whether I'm at the grocery store, walking down the street, at the gas station, at a show, whatever it is. I am always connecting with people. It's just what I love to do.
Yeah.
And what's so neat about it is it brings me so much joy. It brings me so much joy. So I was reading Brene Brown's book the other day, Daring Greatly. And she was talking about how to live a joyful life.
Yeah.
Right. And in the book, she gives a bunch of different examples of how to do it. But I thought of one. I thought of the example of do the things that bring you joy more often. Right. So I do this thing where I love to dance. I love dancing. I love it. I dance like a crazy man all the time. I dance in the grocery store. I dance in the car. I dance in the shower. I dance at shows so crazy that people will watch me dance. I dance everywhere I can dance, and I don't care what anybody thinks. It's so much fun. And so what's so neat about it is I was thinking about it the other day. And I was like, if I gave up dancing, if I just never danced again, I would not feel as much joy in my life as if I danced every day.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, okay, well, next time you want to feel joyful, just dance. Yeah. Right. And that goes for anybody with anything. Right.
Who sings that song? Just
dance. Are you talking about Lady Gaga?
No. It's like, put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
Oh, this is a song that's like older than time itself. Anyway, I was going to ask you, what do you love? What do you love to do that brings you more joy every time you do it, regardless of when you do it?
Chatting with my kids.
That's a good one.
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Not that I have kids, but I love chatting with my mom.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Oh, it is.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
How neat that we get to do that.
I know.
Because there's so many people out there that don't have a relationship with their parents.
Yeah.
That it's impossible for them to have conversations like we have. It's impossible because they don't have the level of vulnerability, of trust, of all the different things that make what we do possible.
Right.
They just don't have it.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah. How neat for a mom to be able to get that.
Oh, it's beyond neat.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well,
try and explain.
Just imagine
it,
right? It's like when you have kids.
Okay.
And you have a baby, and then they're growing up, and you're watching them grow up, and you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. You get to see your kids grow up and growing and changing. But then it's like imagining back then, I can remember imagining, gosh, what is it going to be like to like hang out with them when they're adults? Dad and I definitely had a very conscious intention to raise adults. So
Yes.
we raised you to be adults. So we helped you to grow personally and feel good about just being you and being able to just talk about whatever you want to talk about, no matter what it was. It's like you weren't shamed for what you wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
So we were open to pretty much anything. And
Too true.
yeah. And that has now come, I don't know if it's full circle. Maybe it's half circle. I'm not sure what kind
Maybe
of
the circle,
circle it is.
maybe
It
the circle
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
end.
Maybe it's not even a circle. I
Maybe
don't
it's
know.
a
But we're
Mobius
over
strip.
here. And now I get to look back and I'm just like, dude, this is like that little, like I can see you in my mind's eye. It's like I can see this little 2-year-old guy and toddler playing, and now he's here chatting with me, and I get
That's cool.
to hear all about all the different things that you do, and I've got like a full scope of who you are as a person.
Well, and not only that, but
Like
think
it's
about
not hidden. Like you don't have to
Correct.
lie
correct.
about what
Anything.
you're doing or who you are because you've got to hide it from me. It's like
It's truly
easy.
unconditional love.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
You do love me unconditionally.
Yeah.
Literally
totally.
didn't matter what I would do.
Yeah.
You would love me unconditionally.
Totally.
What I thought was really interesting, I lost it. In the middle of me saying it, I lost it.
Did you?
Yes. It was good too. It was really good. I don't anyway, I'll think about it. What were you just saying? You were saying, how neat is it when you think about like the breadth of human experience that one person can feel, right?
Yeah.
Like think about how many times you've been happy, how many times you've been sad, how many times you've, lived and felt like dying or, whatever it is, the good and the bad.
Oh, yeah.
Take that whole experience
Mm-hmm.
and then realize that you delivered that experience into the world. You brought it into existence.
Yeah.
That is one of the most unbelievably spiritual, like, what things ever.
Seriously. Yeah.
I mean, it is so inconceivably wild
Yeah.
that one woman and one man can make something that can experience reality to the point at which you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You made that.
Yeah.
What?
And I got to deliver it into the world.
Yeah. And then wow, this is almost like one of those God things, right? So you've delivered something into the world.
Yes.
And then you are now experiencing yourself.
Yes.
Are you not?
Yes.
Because I am a part of you.
Yes.
So
Correct.
you, in just talking,
Yes.
this is really
Part
a
of
shared
me.
experience. This
Yeah.
is really one experience instead of two.
Yes.
Because you are me and I am you. Right?
You're definitely part of me.
Pretty neat.
Yeah. It gets a little trippy. Because then you
Yeah.
start
I
thinking
love that
about,
trippy
right?
shit,
Like the
though.
generational stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Well,
then you realize that
it's
there's
all
connections
connected.
through generations. Yeah.
yeah. Well, who was I talking about this with the other day? I was like, it's really important to me to heal a lot of my, generational trauma,
Yeah.
right? Shit that's not mine.
Yeah.
Before I have kids, because
Yeah.
I believe that when you make a baby,
Mm-hmm.
that information is downloaded like a floppy disk drive
Yeah.
into that baby, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really, really
At
important.
least
to
some
me.
of it.
At least some of it, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And usually, it seems to be the stuff that's negative, right?
I think it's probably both. I mean,
guess so.
Like you think about, you have grandparents who were very creative people. I think some of your creativity, your ability to do artwork and different things. I mean, I think that comes from that also. So it's downloaded
good point.
that way as well, good and bad.
Yeah, so good and bad, just like with anything.
Just like with anything.
Just like
That's
with
exactly
anything.
right.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yes, that was
Good.
fun.
That was a good one.
Yes,
I think we should
Love
sit
you.
like this more often. I think people will
Yeah.
like it better.
I think so too.
I liked it better.
I enjoyed it because then it
I
felt
hope
like
the
a
audio
real.
is good this time.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, folks,
Fun.
thanks for hanging out with us. We had a lot of fun today. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want us to chat about anything, you let us know. We would love to chat about it. If you have some questions for us with either your kids or your parents that you want some input on, let us know. We'd love to answer some questions.
Oh, and what's the payment? They got to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. To watch this podcast, you do have to pay for it. And it's not a heavy price.
It's not.
Here's what it is. You got to say to one person this week, one thing that you love about them. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be a random stranger. Could be a friend. Could be a family member. But you have to tell one person what you love about them.
Yeah.
And it's got to be genuine.
Nice.
So do it.
Have fun.
Out. Rah!